Okay, and we're streaming on YouTube.
Good.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. The first week of April. Wanted to start by talking about our vaccine site at Temple Bet El. We were able to vaccinate 500 people today, which was amazing. It was a great show of support from the neighbors and the local politicians who came in and showed their support for today's event. We're going to have another 500 vaccines tomorrow distributed at the same location. So that's 1,000 people vaccinated in 2 consecutive days in our village. I'm really proud of this event. A lot of work went into it, and I wanted to thank Karen, Brian, and Abraham for really putting a lot of time into this. I know that Abraham and Brian really were on the phone till wee hours of the night, registering people on both nights. So kudos to you guys. I wanted to thank you again. I know there are some unhappy people out there because they could not get their names on the registration as quickly as it was running out. We were able to actually distribute about 500 vaccines in about 5 hours. That's record time in our county, and I believe that Northwell and Executive Laura Corrin were extremely ecstatic about the quick turnaround of these vaccines. Obviously, we're all hoping that people who want to get vaccinated, or be able to get vaccinated as soon as possible, and hoping that Northwell, state, and the county realized that this was a great site, and people were enthusiastic about it, and hoping that they come back again soon. One of the things that I'm hearing a lot about is Middle Neck Road construction that is going on now for a while. Obviously, this is, I hope I know by now everybody knows that this is to change the water pipe that is over 100 years old, that they're replacing it, and the entire Middle Neck Road. They're not replacing it, but they're adding a 12-inch pipe, which is a brand new pipe. Hopefully, it's going to last us for another 100 years or so. These are some pains that we have to go through. I have been told by the county that by the end of the summer, we should really get a complete repavement of the entire Middle Neck Road. So hopefully we're going to have a brand new surfacing as well. So those are the 2 topics that have come up. I still ask everyone to be careful and continue the proper distancing and avoid large gatherings, especially if you're not vaccinated. That said, Brian or Abraham, who's hosting this?
Abraham.
I have it. Would you like the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, please.
I am sharing it right now.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America, Republic, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, everyone. So we're going to start the Zoom meeting. I am hoping that everyone had a great Passover and Easter holiday, and everyone got back to their work and health. And we do have a packed meeting tonight. We try to stay on the agenda as much as we can. With that, Abraham, please start.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to start from the old business or the new business first?
Well, let's start with the ones that we can get through quickly. There's certain things that obviously are much easier to deal with, so let's do those. and then we'll move. So
Okay,
we
sure.
can,
So under new business, we have a request for a parade from Iran for justice, for social justice. The applicant, Mr. Nazmial, I'm not sure if he is on the meeting. Mr.
Hello,
Nazmial?
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. If you could
Okay,
please
awesome. I'm gonna
explain
pull
your
over
cause.
because I'm actually driving back from work right now. Let me just pull over to the side so I can discuss this with you. Okay, I put my light on. Hello, everyone. Hello, board. How's everything? Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate everyone's time. And I think that you guys are looking for a little bit more information about the event, which I'm happy to share with you guys. Are there any particular questions that I can address first and foremost?
right. So a couple of things. Obviously, for the important thing, the date of which you would like to hold this this rally or gathering, I would say. That's one thing, and also a brief explanation about the cause, and if you have a name of a charity and the cause of this charity that you would like to do this rally for.
Sure. So it's thank you, Mayor Burrell. Thank you for your time. So it isn't a rally. It's actually a walk or run through most of Kings Point and a little bit of Great Neck. And I'm planning on doing it the third week of August, which seems like the best time to do it due to the fact that I still need to gain your approval. The Kings Point Police is on board. I've spoken to the Kenilworth Association, which is where I live and where I would host the event, or at least to start the event. And the idea is really because of my Persian roots and the recent and unfortunate events of a wrestler by the name of Navid Afkari, who was wrongfully accused of murder in Iran and sentenced to death back in September. And I learned about this through the UFC, who I am working with right now to become a sponsor of the event. The UFC spoke out against it because Navid was a wrestler, and it even reached the President of the United States. I don't know if it caught any of your ears during September of last year,
Yeah.
but it was a significant event, and it really sparked a fire in me, and it got me. And I've always wanted to give back to Iran somehow, some way, even though I'm unable to visit as a Jew. My parents are very reluctant to travel back there, and I want to do something to give back to the injustices that people there currently experience. And I'm working with the National Iranian American Council currently, and they're currently putting me in touch with organizations who can donate money inside of Iran. And there's a lot of hoops and hurdles I have to jump through in order to get that approval. But I'm currently in the final stages of having them be okay with me sending money directly to Iran. My primary goal is to send it to Afkari's family, and if I can't do that, then send it to children or other organizations that deal with people that experience injustice there.
So I don't know who you're collecting money from, but who are they? Which organization are they donating to?
So it's Moms Against Poverty is the organization that would handle the money, and it's called OFAC, OFAC. In order to get approval to donate money in Iran, you have to go through these regulations to get approval from basically our government. And there's so few companies that have that approval because of the United States relationship with Iran. So I'm going through NIAC to be in touch with those organizations who could donate to Iran directly. And I could certainly give you more information. I've been in touch with Brian, but that's currently the system that I'm dealing with. And
Okay.
My primary goal is to give the money to Navid Afkari's family.
Okay, so I tell you, do you know the date? I know you said the third week. Is it going to be on
Yeah,
a Sunday, on a
third,
Saturday, on a
the third Sunday of August. Yes.
third Sunday of August? All right. I tell you, I would like to know, you still have plenty of time until
Yes.
August, so we can possibly, if you can get us some of the information that I asked, so the board feels more comfortable about how the money is being handled, and that it's obviously, I'm not accusing anyone, but we want to make sure that it is actually a legitimate charity event. Obviously, we would like to help you out with it.
Thank you.
And we'll probably, I'm going to ask for this to be tabled until the next meeting, which is going to be in 2 weeks. And hopefully within that time, you can get us some more information. So we feel comfortable that this is a proper channel to go through.
Sure. And Mayor Burrell, thank you again for your time. And just to elaborate a little bit more, the people that will be participating in the event are community members, family, friends. I'm planning on getting the wrestlers of Great Neck North and Great Neck South to attend. And basically everyone will be paying some sort of a fee to join the run or the walk. And it's really hopefully even broader than just injustice in Iran, but injustice everywhere in the world. And I plan on this event growing year over year and becoming a bigger idea than just Navid. I really want this to be something that's successful for many years to come, and something that's impactful, and to give a voice to the people of Iran that can't experience life like we do.
Right. Okay. I think that's beautiful, and I wanted to thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Signing off.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda for the new business is a resolution to adopt the election polling place and hours. This was mentioned before about 2 meetings ago. The board set the election date for the third Tuesday in June for June 15th. Tonight, we are adopting the election polling place, which as before it was adopted that it would be the Village Hall, which is at 61 Baker Hill Road. However, the hours was not finalized. The minimum hours are from 12 to 9. If the mayor and the board wishes to expand on those hours and make it earlier or later, this would be the time to discuss it.
Well, my suggestion is based on previous years. I would believe that it's better to have it from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I agree.
Any other members of the board would like to discuss this? Okay.
Might spread things out, in the way, if you don't want to have crowding, then it will, in the event that, since it's this time, at this time, I think it might be a good idea to spread it out.
Okay. If there's no further comment, Peter, would you please?
Is there a motion to set the hours for the election at 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
I do. I pass.
Moved. And is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Brian, I can't see from my screen. Are all board members present?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
Peter.
then unanimous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item is a Manhasset Bay Protection Committee, IMA, which is an intermunicipal agreement. This agreement came in front of the board back in 2016. The agreement is between Nassau County, Town of North Hempstead, and villages of Baxter State, Flower Hill, Great Neck, Kensington, Kings Point, Manor Haven, Muncie Park, Plandom, Heights, Plandom Manor, Washington North, Port Washington North, Sands Point, and Thomaston. There's this, according to this agreement, everybody tries to protect the Manhasset Bay. The intermunicipal agreement cannot expand more than 5 years. Therefore, this has come back in front of the board for their approval. I'm going to put it up for your view in just a moment.
The current agreement contains a renewal clause where the member municipalities have the option, if they all consent, to renew the agreement for an additional 5 years. And that, I believe, is the request that's being made of you this evening.
Right. Well, obviously, Manhasset Bay is extremely important to us, and I believe that Manhasset Bay Committee is doing a fabulous job by making sure that it is protected. And I think they are the voice of the entire peninsula. So, and actually not only our peninsula, but the neighboring peninsula as well. So I do believe that it's a worthy cause, and I do recommend to renew this intermunicipal agreement.
Can you turn to paragraph 13?
Top of the page.
And that is the paragraph which provides that the agreement terminates 5 years after it was executed unless extended by consent of all the municipalities for another successive 5-year period.
Okay.
Is there a motion to authorize the mayor to take such action and execute such documents as will renew and extend the intermunicipal agreement in relation to the Manhasset Bay Protection Committee for an additional 5-year term?
I move.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
The next item on the agenda is a proposal for professional planning services by H2M. The professional services will be provided to technical review of the SECRA documentation, as well as a traffic study review and the SECRA process support, and attending all the meetings and hearings in regards to the project at 265 East Shore Road. The proposal is in front of you. The total proposal is for $9,500, and the applicant is expected to reimburse the village for it.
This is to reimburse the village for this and anything that goes above if need be, correct?
Yes, our code requires the applicant to pay the costs of the village's costs for reviewing the environmental material and assessing and classifying the project if the village finds it necessary to retain outside consultants. A copy of this proposal was sent to the applicant's attorney's office for their review. So they are aware of the proposal and expressed no objection to it. I believe that Mr. Bloom is on the call this evening, and he may be able to confirm that. Mr. Bloom?
Confirmed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody? Okay, so we need to make a motion to accept this proposal.
I move.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, it appears the motion passes unanimously.
The next item is to schedule a budget hearing for the budget for the year 2021-2022 for April 20th at 8 p.m.
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, passed unanimously. The next item is a tent application for a property located at 23 Old Mill Road. The tent, they are requesting to go up on 4/23, and it will be up for 2 days, 4/23, 4/24, and they will take it down the following day. They have submitted their application, their fire marshal approval, and the location of the tent. If you just give me one moment, I'm going to make this upside on the correct side.
And Abraham, the application also calls for proof of insurance. Have those documents been submitted?
Yes, that has, the building department has those forms.
Correct.
Just give me one moment. I'm going to turn, if I could. There you go. Okay. The location of the tent here. This is Old Mill Road on the right side of the screen. You could see, and this is the property. They would like to put the tent right here on their lawn, adjacent to Old Mill Road.
That's a big tent.
It
30-foot
is.
tent.
I think it was 60 by 20, Abraham, I think.
Looking to see if they.
Okay, as long as it's got the approval.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's approximately 60 by 20, if I remember correctly.
All right, for 2 days. I mean, if
I'll move it subject to the usual approvals.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Passed unanimous. Mayor, would you like to go back to the old business or the abstract?
we can do the abstract later. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So let's do the old business.
The first item on the old business is the applicant at 777 Middle Neck Road. They are in front of a board for site plan, architectural review, and a facade approval.
Right, I think, right. Wasn't the site plan? Oh no, the site plan, they had to do the rendering, I think, from two sides, right?
Yes, the board may recall we actually closed the record on this project, leaving it open only for the applicant to submit a visual rendering of the project from the two sides, also to submit samples of the building material, and lastly, to submit an amended site plan showing the location of a sound barrier. I believe the building department has confirmed that those three items have been provided. And if that is the case, what is left is passage of the resolution for CEQA classification and the approval itself.
Well, can you share that, please? Do you have that material? Do you have them with you?
Are you talking about the materials or the resolutions? I'm sorry.
No. The rendering of the two sides that we did not have last time.
I don't know whether the building department or the main office has those. Abraham?
I do not have the electronic formats. I know that they've submitted something to the building department. However, due to COVID restriction last week, the building department was understaffed last week, so I don't know if they got the chance to review it.
I believe we may have a copy of that to be able to share.
Well, I could share it, Brian.
Please.
Sure. Do I have the ability to share my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Bear with me one moment, please.
Just as a correction, while it's being put up, it was 4 sides that we were asked to, 4 facades to show.
So can everyone see the elevations in front of you?
Oh, yes, I certainly can.
Paul, can you see this okay?
I see it. I see it. So I'm assuming everybody else can as well.
So we have the front elevation, which is at the top here. That's Middle Neck Road. The material legend is called out. We have primarily three main materials. The limestone is the lighter of the three colors, sort of this framework, which you can see, sort of an accented. The romantic walnut wood veneer by Trespa is the accent material, this brown wood tone at the spandrel locations. And then we have a sandstone material, a stucco material by Stowe, which is the main material on the facade, and the window frames are black aluminum. That was all submitted to the village physically as well. This is the gutile elevation, which you can see the materials wrap around. This is the courtyard section where it gets pushed back, and then this is the center section as if you were in the inner court. I can bring up the other elevations. The south elevation is a similar material where the limestone panel wraps the corner, and then the same window element and wood veneer accent breaks up that second floor spandrel. And then on the first floor, to break up the massing of the facade, we created a pier architectural language there with a lighter sand, moonlit sand stucco material by Stowe as well, which mimics the language of the windows above. Similarly, on the east elevation, you can see at the bottom of the screen, the limestone material wraps the corner, that accent bay wraps the corner. We've also carried the walnut accents all the way through this entire facade at that second floor spandrel line, and similarly creating those piers and breaking up the massing with the moonlit sand stucco compared to the sandstone stucco, which you can see.
Do you have the rendering?
These are the renderings that we prepared, these four colored elevations.
This is not a rendering.
Brian, I think you need to change the screen.
I'm sorry, it didn't switch to the other elevation?
No.
Sorry, let me try that again then. Sorry, now you see the south and east?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a rendering?
Yes, these are the colored elevations we prepared.
Yeah, but these are not rendering. Am I missing something?
No, these were the colored elevations we were able to turn around in the time frame that was requested to revise all four facades.
I remember that we asked for rendering because you're expecting us to visualize something based on a schematic drawing with some colors. And I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but that's what the requirement was. I don't know.
Well, these are rendered elevations. These are materials that were scanned digitally.
Listen, you're an architect. I'm not. And it may be very clear for you what this would look like in real life. It doesn't to me. And I don't know if it does to the rest of the board and the public. I think it's fair to say that, when we asked for rendering, I think it was very clear what kind of rendering we were asking for.
With the exception of the east elevation, we're really not getting a sense of scale. I mean, that gives us a little bit, but.
I don't know. I don't know what I can say to this. We had renderings before. I don't think any of the renderings look this way. These are schematic renderings, I understand, but these are not the renderings that the board usually looks at in order to give the final approval. at least on one side, or two sides, I would like to see what they look like. I don't see that.
I know during the process, we did have both 2D and 3D renderings. The facade has been modified a few times and refined. This is the latest version of the facade, all 4 facades, with the accurate depiction digitally of the actual materials that have been either scanned or taken specifically from the website. So they're accurate depictions of the materials. And we have now, provided all 4 elevations. That's all I can.
I mean, with all due respect, I see the elevations and I do appreciate the elevations. I thought that we are having the architectural and facade with renderings provided so we can actually decide on the rendering. Again, as an architect, maybe you guys can use this very simply and say, this is what this is. It's the same thing as me doing schematic anatomy for my fellows and residents. It's very different to see schematics versus the actual picture. I know the renderings that you would provide are not the actual picture of a building, but it's very much similar to what the building would look like. This to me does not look what the building would look like. It's the schematic picture of the building. And again, I appreciate and understand the scale, the size, the height, but I don't believe this is what we asked for.
I'm not quite sure what was asked for, and frankly, I don't have a copy of the transcript in front of me. But as my recollection is that the board was asking to see all 4 sides of the building with the appropriate materials. I did
ask for a rendering, and I don't, again, unless I'm missing something, I don't believe that these are the renderings that we usually see before we give a facade approval or architectural approval. Maybe for architectural, we can say this is fine, but facade, I don't know. Am I the only one feeling this way in the board, or other people feel the same? I don't know.
I know in the past, I have presented colored elevations that are accurate for materials of multiple elevations. Maybe not specific to you, Mr. Mayor, but in certain villages, and maybe even in this village in the past, I just don't recall exactly, but more than once, we have certainly presented that to whether it be a board or an architectural review board, and that has been received satisfactory in the past. But
these are elevations that are actually colored renderings, as they're one-dimensional, yes. And I apologize if what you had in mind was the 2 or 3-dimensional product. But what the board was concerned about is that there was some issue with respect to what was the materials and what was the face of the building going to look like. And originally it was 2 sides, concern about the south and the east side being more specific. And what we have here is exactly, and you're talking about proportions, certainly you've got elevations that are shown on all 4 of these drawings. I would agree with you, if you want proportional, you can see with the vehicle, the car, which is, I think, the elevation that this board seemed to be most concerned about, showing what is going to be seen by the residents on Good Tile. And so I'm not quite sure that, in fact, the specificity that you're mentioning, Mr. Mayor, was that which was expressed on the board that would have, at the hearing, that would have brought us to giving or presenting something different. This is what the building is going to look like. We gave hard copies of the actual products. And I know they're in the building department. I don't know if any of the board members have gone to the village to take a look at those products. But all of the materials, hard, not just photographs or pictures, are in the village, and we assumed was also viewed by all of the board members. I think we're now here in semantics more than anything else. So I'm at a loss as to why the board or you, Mayor, are at a loss for what we're showing you. This is the building. I'm not quite sure any other building that has been approved by this board was required to have a two-dimensional, quote unquote, rendering as opposed to a one-dimensional rendering. These that you're seeing on the screen now are photographs of those products which in their natural state, in the hard state, so to speak, are sitting in the village building department. Again, I don't know whether or not any of this has been seen by the board members who are voting this evening, but I believe we've complied with what has been asked for so that we can have this thing completed.
I would like to ask for an advice of counsel, please.
Very good. Brian, will you seclude us?